Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. I told y'all, I'm gonna talk about Deontay Wilder in the live stream. Don't worry, just relax. I'm putting these videos together. I had to get all my other work in. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna get to that. We gonna unpack. We gonna cook on it. We gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Now, let's get back to the topic at hand. All right, we discussed this. We discussed this when we found out who was the NFL finalist for the Hall of Fame. You know, Drew Pearson, he finally gets in. You know, Tom Flores, he finally gets in. As far as the first year, guys, I thought Jared Allen should have got in. I didn't know if he was a shoe-in, but we knew Charles Woodson and Peyton Manning were locks. It was like, next question. It wasn't no argument. Wasn't even a debate. We knew those two were shoe-ins. But the wild card was Calvin Johnson. Me, myself, I think Calvin Johnson did deserve to get into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Had no problem with him getting in on the first ballot. But now we have the other issue to talk about. Is T.O. The voters have finally proven once and for all they are full of shit. Basically, it ain't even a popularity contest. It's basically a favoritism, ass kissing contest. If you give interviews and kiss up to the media, and as they quote unquote call play ball, it's all good. But if you what you call a rebel, an outlaw, whatever, a dude, a dude that don't, get with the program, cooperate, if you have a Barry Bonds mentality to you, then you're an outcast. Which I'm going to talk about Barry Bonds later on as we get ready for MLB whenever they start the season. But once again, it was just proven that T.O. not getting to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot was a joke. I have no problem with Calvin Johnson getting in. Besides, Calvin Johnson, me, Kevin Durant, Brian Gumbel, we all had the same birthday. But nevertheless, if you look at what Calvin Johnson would have did if he would have played probably till he was, 35, he would have put up some big numbers. You look at T.O.'s numbers. T.O.'s numbers say he was the first ballot Hall of Famer. Randy Moss got into the Hall of Fame. And the writers, like I said, they're jokes. The writers, the voters, they are a complete joke. They violated the rules. They made it personal against T.O. It doesn't matter what type of personality T.O. had. Doesn't matter what he said and whether you thought he was a bad teammate and stuff. You were supposed to go by his numbers. Okay? That's it. That's all. Okay? Calvin Johnson played for the Detroit Lions his whole career. Okay? We all know the Detroit Lions are not a very successful team. They have not been successful over the past X amount of years. Because you could have said, well, he got a whole bunch of meaningless touchdowns and meaningless yards. You could have really made that argument. But at the end of the day, Calvin Johnson was that good. He was that good. 6'5", 200 plus pounds, big. I mean, you know what I'm saying? For real. Just big. Okay? He could go deep. He could run routes. He could do it all. You know, Randy Moss was more of a deep threat receiver, where T.O., he was a catch and run receiver. T.O. could do it all. Now, I know people would always say, well, T.O. would drop balls in crucial moments. Well, what about that game-winning touchdown he caught versus Green Bay? So T.O. has some great moments. What about that Super Bowl he played in on one leg? And I'm just mad that these fucking voters, cheated T.O. out of a chance to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because of politics and being self-righteous. And I guarantee you most of those writers never played a lick of football in their life. They sent a clear message to T.O. that it was personal, which that's something that they're not supposed to do. Shannon Sharp already said the bylaws say you are not supposed to go, make your judgment off personal feelings. So, once again, let me ask you, what did T.O. do outside of football? When did T.O. get arrested? Okay? Did T.O. catch a domestic violence case? Did T.O. get busted for drug driving? Did he, accidentally, hurt somebody in a car accident? For real. What did he do? Nothing. Because you heard things about him, what's supposed to went on in locker rooms, so that basically made you decide, hey, I'm not going to vote for him to get in on the first ballot. And by the way, middle finger to Skip Bayless for saying he was going to call the voters and tell them not to put T.O. in. But you put Brent Favre in, who basically sent pictures of his freaking frack to a chick. Peyton Manning, we could, you know what I'm saying? And this just goes to show you how fake Me Too is once again. Who basically pulled out his freaking frack and supposedly had put it up against a lady's ear when he was in college. But that didn't stop the voters, from basically, electing Peyton Manning to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot, and Peyton Manning deserved to be there. Peyton Manning was a great quarterback. No denying. But here's the funny thing. Everybody talk about Tom Brady, which I'm going to talk about Tom Brady's ass before, basically I'll call it a night. Real talk. Everybody is seeming to forget that Tom Brady got caught cheating. And they have totally dismissed this. Ben Roethlisberger got suspended for 6 games for allegedly raping not one, but 2 women. But let me get this straight. T.O. don't get voted in? For real. T.O. don't get voted in on the first ballot. But they already said, hey, Ben Roethlisberger is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But you don't vote T.O. in. Okay. Thank you for listening. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.